The procedure in relation to Georgia against Russia Federation, and I assume now Ukraine, the Ukraine case, proceeding under Article 22 of the Convention and engaging the International Court of Justice. It was very interesting when the Georgia against Russia Federation case was in process. I was a member of the committee both in 2008 and in 2011. As far as I'm aware, the committee was never consulted on this. It was an extraneous matter to the committee, taking place between two sovereign states. And I remember being told of the results, but again, the committee as such was not engaged. But of course, in some ways, the procedure is there and can be used, and it can be extremely important. It's provided for in the Convention. But of course, the Convention has its own interstate dispute procedure under Articles 11 and following articles, which has never been used. And I think in some ways, while of course there is a difference between the sort of binding judgment you would get in the case of the International Court of Justice, and CERD is not a court, nevertheless it seems a pity not to try to use that procedure, since it does give a facility. The requirements of those articles are set out in some detail. So in one way, taking the case to the International Court of Justice gives a certain amount of publicity to the Convention. It's in many ways less good for the committee because it's not decided within the committee. I think it would be helpful and to the work of the committee if Article 11 as such could be engaged formally by states. That would certainly increase the level of publicity, I think, to be accorded to the Convention, and also the work of the committee itself. But states have been very reluctant to do so, and as far as I'm aware, the interstate procedures that the human rights treaty bodies have not been engaged, even where they exist as such. So I have mixed feelings about that, put it that way. And at the same time, it does raise issues as to whether international conflict as such should be dealt as international conflict or as engaging more precisely the norms of the Convention. Perhaps if you want to engage more precisely the norms of the Convention, you should adopt if you like, the internal procedure that is available under that Convention.